Hello everyone! Today we're going to be working on this crochet butterfly, and I think this tutorial is going to give us all a bit of nostalgia because we're going to be making butterfly clips. So similar to the one you see here is what we used to rock all back in the 1990s and early 2000s, and you were the it girl if you had these clips. But we're going to be making a crochet version today. And it's also going to seem like a bit of arts and crafts because we're going to be making some Mod Podge to get this crochet in this stiffer appearance. So what you'll need today is a bowl with a disposable mixer. You really don't want to reuse this stuff or be eating from it again. You want your school glue, your Elmer's glue. You're going to want some sort of craft glue to get your crochet to stick to your clip. You're also going to want these jaw clips. You can get them in a variety of different sizes. I got this from Target. You also want to have a nail file because this glue works best if you rough up the surface. So we're going to be scuffing this a little bit just to give a little more bonding power to our crochet. You also want a tapestry needle to sew in your ends. I'm going to be using a very tiny hook today. It's 1.3 millimeters. And then you're going to want some sort of embroidery floss. So this is 100% cotton, and this project will work best with the cotton. So we used to make friendship bracelets with this back in the day, so also a little nostalgic moment here. But one of these will make you like 2 butterflies, so you really gotta get a lot of bang for your buck. And then you just need a pair of scissors. Okay, so we're working with this super zoom today since we're working with such tiny yarn. So please do not judge me for my cracked cuticles and fingers. It is winter in Minnesota and it is super dry and we're trying our best. But we're gonna start with a slip knot and attach it to our crochet hook. And then we just want to chain 6. So what we're doing here is forming the center of our butterfly. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we want to do a slip stitch to that first chain, and that's going to close off our circle here. So we'll be working into the center here, and what we want to do is just chain up 1, and then we want to put 3 half double crochets into the center. So we got 1, 2, 3. Now something this tiny is going to work up quickly, but it's going to test your patience, that's for sure. So we got our 3 half double crochets, and then we want to chain 3 because we're going to repeat that into that same loop here. So we want to do the 3 half double crochets, chain 3, 3 more times. So we'll have 4 groups of this. Okay, so after we do 4 groups of the 3 half double crochets, chain 3, you could see that it kind of starts to look like a square here, but we did 1, 2, 3, 4 sets there. I did my final chain 3. I'm just going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet at our beginning here. So just really take your time with it. If you notice that you're dropping some threads here, go back, make sure that you pick them all up so that you get a nice clean finish. No need to rush this one, it works up very quickly. And then you have this bigger hole in the middle. You can just pull your original thread here to tighten that up, and then we'll fasten that off at the end. So what you'll want to do is now chain 1, and we're going to turn our piece so that we could work into this first space here. Now in this space we're going to work 1 half double crochet. We're going to work 2 double crochets in that same space, and we're just building our wings here. So this is my second double crochet. Then we're going to work 2 triple crochets or treble crochets. So that's 1 triple crochet and another. We yarn over 2 times. We go through our space, we yarn over, we pull up a loop here, we go through 2 loops, yarn over, go through 2 loops, yarn over, and go through the last one. Now we're going to chain 3, and this is going to give us a cute little point to our wing, and we want to slip stitch back in that same triple crochet here. So just do a little slip stitch there. See, kind of gives it a cute little point here. Now we want to work another triple crochet into that original space. So yarn over 2 times again, put that triple crochet into that space there, and then we'll finish off with 2 double crochets in that same space. And then lastly, we will do a half double crochet in that same space. So we finished one wing here, and you could see the 3 half double crochets of that previous round right here. We want to just slip stitch into the middle stitch here because that will separate our wings and give us a nice clean divide before we hop over to the next space. So we slip stitched there, and we're going to hop over to this next space. Okay guys, so these next 2 wings actually will be more simple than that previous wing. So what we're going to do is work 2 half double crochets into that space. So we got 1, we got 2, and then we're going to work 3 double crochets into that same space. I swear, yesterday, before I had the camera zoomed in on my work, it was a lot easier to do. But we are making it through here. Okay, so we just did our 3 double crochets, and now in that same space, we're just doing 2 half double crochets. And that gives us another wing here. So you can see that they look quite different, but it's working up very cutely. So now we're going to slip stitch into the center stitch of our previous row's half double crochets. So just pick a center stitch here, slip stitch so that you can move on to your next space. And we're going to be working right here. We're going to do the same thing with the 2 half double crochets, 3 double crochets, and 2 half double crochets. Okay, you can see that I made my identical wing from our previous row here. So we have the 2 bottom wings. Now we're going to slip stitch into that previous round's center of the 3 half double crochets here. We did a slip stitch. We're going to be working in our final space here, and we're going to be replicating this top wing here. So to do so, we're going to work 1 half double crochet into the space. We're going to do 2 double crochets. So we got 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochets. Then we're going to do 2 triple crochets. So remember to yarn over twice. When you go into that space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So that's 1 triple crochet. Let's do another one in that same space. And then this is where we make that fun little point. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to slip stitch in the top of that triple crochet again. And then into our original space, we're going to do another triple crochet. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets in that same space. last thing we're doing in that space is 1/2 double crochet, and we are almost finished. I told you guys this would work up so quickly. Now you still want to slip stitch in that center stitch from that previous round here, and then you're just going to fasten off, and this will become part of the antenna. So you can just snip a little portion here because we'll trim it up, and then you'll want to grab your tapestry needle, and I like to secure the center first to make sure that I knot that up. So we'll just take a tapestry needle that's appropriate for this size thread, and then we'll lace that. God, threading a needle on camera, who would have thunk it? The pressure's on. And then I like to go back in to the center here. So give that a nice tight pull so you can really tighten up that hole there. So I like to go in around, go through that main hole here, and I'm just going to make a knot so that I could make sure that this stays at that same tightness that I want. And then I'm just going to lace this up through the top somehow so that I can come up and make my second antenna here. So just kind of sew it as best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. Might take a little wiggling and convincing, but just get that thread up to the top. And then you have your two threads here. You can knot them, and that creates kind of like the little butterfly head, which I think is really cute. And it gets it secure, obviously, too, because we're putting a knot here. So we have our little butterfly head, and then we can just trim the antenna to whatever length we'd like it to be. Okay, and that's cute. Now we're going to do our Mod Podge, because if we leave our yarn like this, it can start to like buckle in on itself, and you might want that look. So you can skip this step and just go right to gluing your yarn onto your clip. And it's a lot more flexible that way, and it could look really cute, but I thought, you know, let's just stiffen it to keep its shape a little better, and then it'll just keep a more stiff appearance. So let's make the Mod Podge next. Okay, so here we have our Mod Podge. So basically what I did was 2 parts water, 1 part glue. For 1 or 2 butterflies, you can probably get away with half a teaspoon of the glue and 1 teaspoon of water. And you want to mix it up really well to where it becomes like this just milky consistency. And then you want a piece of, I guess, wax paper or parchment paper that you could lay your project down onto, or just whatever you don't mind getting all gluey and what can peel away easily too. So you'll take your butterfly and then you'll submerge it fully, and don't be afraid to let your cotton just soak up that solution, and then you can even give it a little squeegee or wring out here. And I let my butterfly dry overnight, and you just want to like straighten the little antenna and then lay it down flat and just get it into the shape that you want it to freeze into. So that looks good to me. I ended up picking it up halfway through the drying process and just flipping it over just to let it dry evenly on both sides, but it really came out nice and stiff. You could see the antennae are really solid here. My fingers are just covered in glue, so I'm gonna go wash up, and then we'll attach these butterflies to our clips. Okay, so I decided to be a responsible human and don some gloves because I don't want this stuff getting onto my skin and doing God only knows what. So what I did next was I took my nail file and I just scrubbed along the entire surface here just to roughen up the texture a little bit to get that glue to stick better. Then I tried the butterfly on to where I want it to be to have a good idea of where I want to apply my glue. Do I want it completely flush with the clip here? Do I want to leave a little space? Crafter's choice. But I'm going to apply the glue and then we will let it set for 24 hours at least, but the label does say it may take up to 72 hours to fully cure. So give it that time to really dry and adhere, and then you'll be left with some beautiful butterfly clips. Okay, so this is what we're left with here. I applied a little glue to the inner top part of that clip and then down towards the teeth here, and I'm just pressing this in. I might secure the butterflies with like a rubber band just to really keep it firmly in place, and I might even open up the clip around something, but give it a chance to dry before donning it in your hair. But I think we got a really cute result here. Thanks for joining me again today, guys. Happy crafting.